I just I never really put in like what goes on in the morning. So like I get up and I make like breakfast and I do the dishes and it's so hard. And the coffee, like making coffee, and then gotta like make some scrambled eggs, which I can kind of not look at scrambled eggs. When I hold this up, I can like feel pain like back in here. Something about holding stuff up in front of me, you know, pulls my neck forward, and I gotta like hold my head back. Anyway, it's exhausting, and so like disability is just like yeah, you can just work a job, and it's just like oh my god, like it's just so physically tiring. It's painful. It's stressful because I'm afraid. I'm like like God help me if I damage my ligaments again, which I'm probably doing every time do the dishes, and because I have to do the dishes because no one will. I have to make myself breakfast because no one will help me. I have to clean up because no one will help. So, and I have to do my laundry and fold my laundry, and I have to do all that because if I don't eat, then I'm gonna get weaker, so on. So yeah, it's hard. It's really really hard. Uh, my neck is so tired I can barely hold my head up, and I'm in a reclined position. I mean, I'm comfortable. Like the pillow's good, and I got another pillow I can put in there, and if that one's not the right shape, and I can lean it back further, and I can relax for a couple hours. It's just, god damn. So I'm not just making this complaint. It's just, this is what it's like when you have craniocervical instability and nobody believes it or knows it or cares, and it's just like this. I need to raise awareness and say this. This is what it's like. Like I mean, like put a like a 30-pound weight on your head and get up in the morning and go make breakfast and go clean and do that for a year and never take the weight off your head ever. And that's craniocervical instability. Uh, so it's really hard. Um, and also, like I found yesterday, I think what's making giving me that deep rumbling tinnitus in my left ear, like when I would do weights where I'd lift the weight up in front of me. Um, I hadn't talked about this before, but like it pulls my whole body forward because I'm holding a weight out in front of me, so my center of gravity is more forward, so I start to fall forward, right? And I have to use my back muscles to hold myself straight and good posture, but I also have to use my neck muscles a little bit because my whole spine wants to go forward from the top down, and so using my neck, so I'm using my, but it can like feel it pulling right around C1, like forward, and it's yanking on my spine to go forward. Yeah, I try to go slow and control it. I'm not using a lot. I'm using 8 pounds, and but I can still feel and like the tinnitus was quieter, quieter, quieter. Every day I wasn't doing that, and then I did that, and I did it controlled, and still like that deep rumbling sound got worse, and more often. So it's like my C1's more forward, like squishing against my brain stem, squishing. I can hear it like it's like wham wham wham. Like I can hear it, and if I hold my pulse, it's like it's exactly in time with my pulse. So it's it's something's pushing against blood, like my internal jugular vein, which I already knew, but I don't know why it's so deep. Because on this side it's like high pitched. On this side it's like it sounds like a car engine, like a car idling. That's what I actually thought the first time I heard it. I was like, "Is there a car outside? Like, what? Where's this car?" And I walked around. I couldn't find the car. I was like, "It's in my ear." And then it just does not sound like blood flowing. It sounds like a car engine. Anyway, yeah. So it's really fucking hard to get up in the morning. I mean, I'm rested. So for like a minute, I feel like normal. Like I don't have any problems. And then I quickly get tired because the muscles just aren't strong. Ligaments just aren't strong. And over time, it's like getting easier to do that, but it's like still, it's so hard. Like I usually gotta rest a couple hours after I make breakfast. And then, and then I gotta make lunch, and I gotta go to the bathroom, and I brush my teeth, and I gotta take a shower, and, make phone calls to people, and when I make phone calls, I gotta sit upright, because it's hard to talk when you're laying down. I got pains around my C5 transverse process on either side. I can push against the bone, and because when I'm laying down, like if I lay down, I like lift my head up off the pillow and like hold it there to talk. Because like if I'm perfectly reclined and I don't lift my chin up, I sound like that. And so I have to lift my neck up a little bit to get the airflow and be able to talk. But then I'm holding my neck, my whole head up, which and your head's the heaviest when you're prone because you're horizontal, and so then that's right here. It's just like it's shredded and hurts so fucking bad. Around the C5 transverse process, both sides. The left side's not as bad. The right side hurts super bad. Like if I push on it, I'll always scream in pain. It hurts so bad. Like I'd rather have someone like squeeze my nuts than squeeze this. This is more sensitive than my nuts. It's fucking bad. It's really like, and it's burning and yeah. But you know, so that's what's going on with that. It's like so I gotta get up, and I'm like, okay, I gotta calm down. I gotta get to the kitchen. I gotta do all this stuff, maintain good posture. Keep an eye on like the food. Keep an eye on how much burning I have in my neck. Because past a certain point of fatigue, it's like okay, I can't push it anymore because then I'm gonna hurt myself. It's just like exercise. Like you run in, your legs get tired. It's like, if you get to the point where you're like, man, it's hard to run. I can barely move my legs. Like you can push it past that point, but then you're not gonna walk for a week. And it's like I gotta get up every day. I gotta keep doing this every day. So I can't only push it so hard with exercise and everything. So it's like, man, it's really fucking hard. I mean, this is part of the reason why I want to die every day because it's like, Jesus fucking Christ, I can't even make myself breakfast. And then I gotta deal with all these doctors and call them and be like, "Oh, can you do this?" I gotta deal with, trying to get, because I have to keep going to see the doctor, because otherwise disability will be like, "Oh, well, you're not seeing the doctor anymore. You're cured." So that's their logic. And I'm like, "Well, what about chronic illness? Like they know this isn't going away. It's not gonna go away in like a month. It's not gonna go away without treatment. Like it might get to a point in a year where I'm like doing kind of okay, but if I don't get treatment, that's the kind of okay is the best I'll ever do. I'll never be able to work again. Uh, I'll just be too fragile. Second I work, I'll get injured. And you think they're gonna pay me any money? No. Pre-existing condition. So, you know, if I didn't tell my job about it, and then I got hurt on the job, they'd look up my medical records and be like, "Yeah, you have all these neck problems, and you tried to work. That's on you." So then I'm injured again. I have no money again. I gotta get back on disability again. So it's like all this shit I gotta deal with just because people are fucking morons and they can't understand what a chronic illness is. Like if you have MS, it's like you got MS. Like you're not getting better. You're gonna get worse and worse and worse and die. But you have to keep going to the doctor to prove you aren't better. Like it's what the fuck. Like I'm fine with life being hard, but like people always like, especially in big organizations, are always like, yeah, that's just the rules. And I'm like, you make the fucking rules. Well, I don't make the fucking. Well, let me talk to the person who does, and you talk to the person higher up. Oh, I don't make. It's just the rules. And you talk to the person that owns the company, and you're like, oh, that's just our policy. I'm like, okay, so nobody's fucking responsible. Nobody. There's just nobody in the company that's responsible. And I'm like, I don't like it. The people that work there aren't inhumane. Like they're good people. They don't like it. I don't like it. The American people, taxpayers, don't like it. Nobody agrees that this is the way it should be done. There's not a single person out there who's like, oh yeah, this is what we should do. Everyone in the line, everyone at the insurance agencies, except for the shareholders. But if you're talking about like disability, there's no shareholders. But it's like everybody's like, we don't want this, and we could change it. But I've worked at big organizations, and the reason why things don't change is because, oh man, I'd have to do a little bit of work. Oh man, like when I was working at organizations, like I worked at American Electric Power, and it's like they had things that were affecting the whole company, and I was like, well, this isn't good. This should change. And it's not even my department. So I'd call the people in that department and be like, should change, and here's why. And, they talk about it and be like, yeah, this, we agree, this should change, and maybe it takes a couple months of like meetings and whatever, and you're like, yeah, here's why. This is costing us $100,000 a year for no reason. And they want to have meetings forever because they don't want to do any work. They just want to have meetings, and they're afraid because they're like, oh, if I change it, something breaks, something doesn't work, then I'm responsible. I could lose my job. And then eventually everyone's like, okay, we're all on the same page, we'll do it, and then you save hundreds of thousands of dollars a year. And but nobody wants to take the initiative. Like the people I talk to that are like, this is fucking wrong. Do they? They're like, it's out of my hands. I'm like, do you say you could send an email? You could send an email to your boss. You could send an email to the other company. This is what's happening. This is bad. Like we're wasting time and money on chronic illness paperwork. Like we should just say like, is this going to get better without treatment? No. Well, then we don't have to keep checking. We don't have to just assume they're okay and keep checking on them and ask them to keep sending on. We don't have to do hours and hours and hours of work, which costs us thousands of dollars. We just skip all that for this kind of person. Chronic illness, just skip it. Like it wouldn't be that hard to be like, okay, MS. Here's some milestones that you're checking in every 6 months. CCI checking in every 6 months. And just say like, hey, are you able to get regenerative medicine? If not, are you able to get a fusion or do physical therapy? That's it. And just otherwise, just assume they have it. Um, you know, I mean, you don't have to keep doing all this extra work. And you could send an email and just be like, hey, I don't know about this. Can we change this? And they'd be like, well, that's this department. Okay, send that department an email. And then that department will say, okay, well, this is, it's up to this person. Okay, send that person an email. And they'll say, okay, well, we're thinking about this and that. Do you want to talk about this? You want to come to like talk about it in a meeting? Okay, yeah, we'll talk about. Okay, we'll get together. You could show like, if you do some basic, napkin math and just be like, yeah, like it's just costing us this many hours, wasting time. All these people are getting serious health problems because they're having to do all this unnecessary medical work. They're re-injuring themselves. All this immense stress. It's causing us stress. They're getting more injured, which is going to cost us this much extra money in the long run because now we have to spend all this extra money for medical bills and shit. And they're going to be, this much longer, on disability versus off it, and whatever the math, whatever. And you just do some math and just be like, look, here's $100,000 for, and you could talk about it. And that's how things change. They don't change because, you know, oh, like we discovered a better way. Well, then of course we're just going to do the better way, and it just happens. Like the people who are doing the work have to tell the people above them this isn't working because those people above them don't ever talk to anybody. They don't know. They don't care. They're just managers. They just go to meetings and never deal with the customers or patients and never do anything. They might have done years ago. And they don't know what's going on. They're just there to make sure the employers are doing their jobs. The employees are doing their jobs. So it's like you're an employee. You're answering the phone. You're dealing with the patients. You need to say, hey, uh, we need to do things differently, and stop saying like, oh, that's our policy. Like, dude, you work there. That's your policy. You listening to this, who works there? That's your fucking policy. You change it. When I was working at companies and people call me and be like, this isn't working out for me, I'd be like, I don't say, well, sorry, that's the way we do things. I say, okay, owner of the company or manager, this isn't working. We should do it different. And I wasn't an ass about it. I'm just like, is it possible we could do it differently? I mean, it wouldn't cost us that much money. It would save us, we could make money in the long run. off this. We can make a lot more money. The customers would be happy. It'd be less work for us. So we win, they win, everybody's happy. You don't have to be an ass, and things can make sense. And it's just, but like, if I didn't do that, nobody else would do it. So like insurance companies are like, well, this is the way we do things, and disability, oh, this is the way we do things, and even at your job, like you'll be like, oh, this is the way we do it. It's like it's because nobody wants to fucking do any work, figure anything out, because everyone's always working is you know a full. They're you're stressed anyway, so you're like, why? If I put in this extra work and when I see it done, like when I put in that extra work and I saved the company hundreds of thousands of stars, did I see a fucking dime? No, I didn't see shit. And people are like, well, why should I do it then? Because I had half as much fucking work to do. I cut our workload in half. And I saved a lot of, I saved jobs because people didn't lose their jobs over getting hacked and scammed out of money that were working there. So I saved my employees a lot of stress. I saved myself a lot of stress. The customers, American Electric Power, suffered less because they were getting shut down less by hackers. you know? And it's hard to quantify because it's like you're preventing attacks. How much did you prevent? I don't know. The attack didn't happen. Did they do $100,000 of damage, $1 million? I don't know. It didn't happen. So I don't know how much I did. I could have been billions. It could have been hundreds of thousands. I don't know. But I saved for sure the employees hundreds of thousands of dollars a year in wasted time. And to the point where like employees were like, "Yeah, I'm worried about getting fired." And I'm like, "Don't, we had plenty of work to do, but it was like that much of a workload decrease." So like if you helped someone at a disability place, you help them, um, and you say like, they have chronic illness, we need to treat them differently, then guess what? Everyone in your department has less work to do because you don't have to deal with all this extra paperwork. These people with these chronic illnesses saying you need to get to the doctor. You just keep going to the doctor, keep going, keep going. You know, like every week, every 2 weeks, keep going to prove you have what you have. It's like, you cost the insurance company a lot of time and money. You cost the patient a lot of time, money, injuries. You're wasting a lot of time for yourself. It's like you're making your life easier if you spend like I spent hours on it, maybe like 10 to 20 hours to save myself like of work over the course of months to save my like just email talking with people about better ways to do things to save myself hundreds of hours of stress and pain and suffering a year. I mean, probably whatever 20 times 50 is, right? It's 1,000 hours. Did I do that right? Right. Yes, 1,000 hours. So 1,000 hours of hard work a year I saved, just myself, and 1,000 hours for everyone else in cybersecurity in at American Electric Power, because I found an automated way to deal with threats rather than us manually doing it. So it was like we still have plenty of stuff we had to manually deal with because there's new threats that were like our automated system can't keep up with because it's new, and there'll always be that. It's like so anyway. So I saved 1,000 hours. So if you 10 20 hours work to save myself 1,000 hours. So it's like it's in your best interest to help to do something and not say, oh, it's just our policy. It's like motherfucker, change the policy, do something. Like everyone listening to this at your job, you can do shit. It doesn't matter if you're the lowest I was the lowest person there. And I changed it. I changed everything for the whole department just by talking to people and talking to other departments. It wasn't even in my department. It was like an email. We didn't handle the email servers and the email spam firewall and email security. Like we would manually review stuff, but we didn't handle like how that's all set up. So, yeah, so you can do things. Man, it's even tired to talk. Tiring to talk. So yeah, you can do things.